Good day, everyone. So, for today's lesson, we are going to connect what we learned about Archimedes' principle and Pascal's principle to things that we actually see and use in everyday life. We are not going to memorize definitions today. I want you to look at different technologies and ask yourself, what is the fluid doing here? Is the fluid providing buoyant support or is the fluid transmitting pressure? By the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain the two principles distinguish buoyant force from fluid pressure and identify technologies that apply each principle. Here are our learning targets for today. So by the end of our lesson, you should be able to do three things. First, explain Archimedes and Pascal's principles. Second, distinguish buoyant force from fluid pressure. And third, identify technologies that apply each principle. So while we discuss the different examples, keep asking yourself, is this about buoyancy or is this about pressure? How can we use fluid principles to understand technologies that make our lives safer and easier? Here is our essential question for today. How can we use fluid principles to understand technologies that makes our lives safer and easier? Think about that question throughout our lesson. So for example, why can a huge ship stay on water? Why does a life jacket help a person float? How can someone use a hydraulic jack to lift a vehicle that is much heavier than the person? These are not just technological tricks, they are applications of fluid principles. Let us begin with Archimedes' principle. The principle states an object immersed in a fluid experiences an upward buoyant force equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. So the important word here is buoyant force. Buoyant force is the upward force exerted by a fluid on an object. So whenever an object is placed in the water pushes upward on that object. So let me ask you, if I place a stone in the water, does the water push on the stone? Yes, correct. So the upward push is called a buoyant force. So let's simplify Archimedes' principle into three ideas. Displaced fluid to buoyant force to floating or sinking. So when an object enters a fluid, it displaces some of that fluid. The displaced fluid results in a buoyant force, and the relationship between the buoyant force and the object's weight helps determine whether the object floats or sinks. So remember this sequence. Displacements leads to buoyant force, and buoyant force help explain floating and sinking. So buoyant force is simply the upward support provided by a fluid. Imagine you are swimming. You may notice that your body feels lighter in water compared to when you are standing on the ground. And why? Because the water is pushing upward on your body. So that upward support is the buoyant force. So if you see an object in water, always ask, what is pushing the object upward? So the answer is the buoyant force from the fluid. Now, question, how does the fluid support the object? Here is an important question. Okay? So the answer is through buoyant force. The fluid pushes upward against the object. So this is why we should not simply say the object floats because it is light. That is not always correct, class. Okay? A very heavy object can float if its shape allows it to displace enough fluid and produce enough buoyant force. And this brings us to our next example. Look at this example, a cargo ship. A cargo ship can be extremely heavy, but it can still float. So here's our question. Why can a cargo ship float even though it is very heavy? So that's correct, because of buoyancy. Yeah. So let's make that answer more complete. A cargo ship has a large hollow structure. Its shape allows it to displace a large amount of water. The displaced water produces enough buoyant force to support the weight of the ship. So remember, it is not simply about being heavy or light. Shape and displacement matter. Now, let's take a look at another application: life jackets. So, why does a life jacket help a person stay afloat? A life jacket helps by first increasing a buoyancy, second, helping displace water, and third, providing upward support. So, if someone falls into a deep water, the life jacket helps increase the upward buoyant force acting on the person. So, that is why life jackets are important for water safety. So, what principle is being applied here? Correct. Archimedes principle. Next is the submarine. A submarine has the ability to control whether it will float, sink, or remain underwater. How can it do that? So, by changing its buoyancy. So, the submarine has a ballast tank that can take in or release water. So, when its buoyancy changes, its position in the water changes as well. So, once again, what principles helps explain this? If your answer is Archimedes' principle, you are correct. So remember, submarine is equivalent to controlled buoyancy. Another example is the rescue boat. A rescue boat needs to remain afloat while carrying people, equipment, and supplies. So they are especially important during floods, rescue operations, and emergency response like what we're happening right now in the Philippines. Now, think about a flood situation. Why is it important for a rescue boat to have enough buoyancy? If your answer is so it won't sink, that is correct. It needs enough buoyant force to support its weight and the people or equipment it carries. So again, we see Archimedes' principle in action. Now let's move to the second principle, Pascal's principle. Pascal's principle states pressure applied to an enclosed fluid is transmitted throughout the fluid. The key word here is pressure. Unlike Archimedes' principle, which focuses on buoyant force, Pascal's principle focuses on pressure transmission. So, if I apply pressure to an enclosed fluid, that pressure is transmitted throughout the fluid as well. So, in a hydraulic system, a liquid is used to transmit pressure and force. So, the system commonly includes pistons, hydraulic fluid, enclosed chambers, and valves or connecting tubes. So, the main function is to transmit pressure and produce or control force. So, when you see the word hydraulic, I want you to think immediately: fluid plus pressure plus force. So let's imagine a simple hydraulic system. You apply force to a small piston. That force creates pressure in the hydraulic fluid, and the pressure is transmitted through the fluid. So the transmitted pressure can then produce a force on another piston. So this allows us to perform work, so such as lifting or moving heavy objects. So for example, the hydraulic car jack. So have you ever wondered how one person can lift a vehicle using a relatively small amount of effort? If your answer is hydraulic system, that is correct. So the process is fluid of force rather goes to hydraulic fluid, transmitted the pressure, and it lifts the heavy object through a force. So a person applies force to the jack. The force creates pressure in the hydraulic fluid. The pressure is transmitted through the fluid, and the resulting force helps lift the vehicle. And what principle is being applied? Pascal's principles. Exactly. So another example is the hydraulic lift. Hydraulic lifts are commonly found in automotive repair shops, service centers, and industrial workplaces. So they allow heavy objects or vehicles to be lifted and positioned safely. So for example, when a mechanic needs to work underneath a car, a hydraulic lift can raise the vehicle. Again, the key idea is pressure is transmitted through an enclosed fluid to produce a useful work. And that is Pascal principle. Now let's take a look at something you probably use every day without thinking about it, the hydraulic brakes. When the driver presses the brake pedal, force is applied to the brake system. So that force creates pressure in the brake fluid. The pressure is transmitted through the fluid to the braking components. The brakes then help slow down or stop the vehicle. So let's connect the sequence. Press brake pedal to pressure in fluid, to pressure transmitted, and to brakes engage. Now again, what principle is this? A Pascal's principle. Another application is the hydraulic compactor. Hydraulic compactors use hydraulic system to compress materials using controlled force. They can be used in waste management, garbage collection, and industrial operations. So for example, a garbage truck can use a hydraulic system to compress waste. Again, we have force to pressure, to hydraulic fluid, to transmitted pressure, and to useful work. And again, this is another example of Pascal principle. Now, let's compare the two principles. So this is one of the most important parts of today's lesson. Archimedes' principles focuses on buoyant force. It explains floating and sinking. The object interacts with the fluid. Examples include cargo ships, life jackets, submarines, and rescue boats. On the other hand, Pascal's principle focuses on pressure transmission. It explains how the hydraulic system works. Examples includes hydraulic jacks, hydraulic lifts, hydraulic brakes, and hydraulic compactors. So if I say floating, which principle? So if your answer is Archimedes principle, you are correct. If I say hydraulic jack, what principle is this? If your answer is Pascal's principle, you are excellent. So let's test your understanding. If the technology is related to floating or buoyancy, think Archimedes. Examples: ship, life jacket, submarine, rescue boat. So I will give you an example and you tell me the principle. Okay, for example, a ship. So that is Archimedes. How about life jacket? Archimedes. How about submarine? Same Archimedes principle and same with the rescue boat. Now let's switch. If the technology involves pressure being transmitted through an enclosed fluid, think a Pascal. So for example, we have hydraulic jack. This is Pascal, hydraulic lift, Pascal principle, hydraulic brake. A Pascal principle and hydraulic compactor is a Pascal principle. Now, here's an important reminder. Not every technology that uses a fluid automatically demonstrates Archimedes or Pascal's principle. So just because something uses water or another fluid doesn't mean that one of these principles is automatically being applied. We need to examine how the fluid functions. So ask yourself, is the fluid providing a buoyant force? If yes, think Archimedes. Or is pressure being transmitted through an enclosed fluid? If yes, think Pascal. So we don't classify a technology simply because we see water, oil, or another fluid. We need to understand the function of the fluid. So let's see if we can complete the important ideas from today's lesson. Number one, Archimedes' principle is mainly associated with blank. So what's your answer? So if your answer is buoyant force or buoyancy, you are correct. Number two, Pascal's principle is mainly associated with blank. So if your answer is pressure transmission, you are correct. Number three, a technology demonstrates Archimedes' principle when, okay, if your answer is buoyancy or buoyant force helps to support an object in fluid, okay, very good. And number four, technology demonstrate Pascal's principle when blank. If your answer is pressure is transmitted through an enclosed fluid, so that is an excellent. And finally, understanding these principles helps communities blank. Yeah, so I think I can have a different some different answers, no? But if your answers is one of this, you are correct. Solve problems, improve safety, design useful technologies, make work easier, and respond to technology emergencies. Now, how can we use fluid principle to understand technologies that makes our life safer and easier? So let's return to our essential question. We know that these principles are not just equations or definition in a textbook. Archimedes principles helps us understand technologies on that depend on buoyancy, such as ships, life jackets, submarines, and rescue boats. Pascal's principles help us understand technologies that use pressure transmission, such as hydraulic jacks, hydraulic lifts, brakes, and compactors. And these applications help us move, lift, transport, rescue, and protect people. So understanding fluid principles allow us to understand how science is used to solve real life problems. Before we end, I want you to think beyond the science. Fluid principles have helped people design technologies that make works easier and improve safety. A rescue boat can help save people during floods. A life jacket can help people prevent drowning. Hydraulic brakes help vehicles stop safely. Hydraulic lifts help workers handle heavy vehicles and equipment. So my final question for you is how can understanding science help us create technologies that protect and serve our communities? Take a few seconds to think about your answer. Again, science is not only about knowing how things work, it's also about using what we know to help people and solve real world problems. So that is our lesson for today. So thank you for listening and have a good day.